Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a world where our buildings aren't just, energy efficient, but are actually powering a cleaner future.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into the practical path for that future, specifically looking at a really crucial sustainability standard, LEA BD plus CV5.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is how the LEE program, particularly this EAc4 renewable energy credit, it isn't just about ticking a box somewhere. It's really meticulously designed to incentivize a pretty profound energy transition. So our mission today is to extract the key nuggets, the most important insights from the sources you've provided. We want to help you understand precisely how projects earn points for clean energy, and maybe more importantly, why these strategic choices are just absolutely vital for the bigger picture, for a low carbon economy.
And if you're as curious as we are about how we can build a better, cleaner world, make sure to subscribe so you can hear more about this world in our future deep dives. Okay, now let's get right into the heart of what drives this transformation. So, when we talk about shifting to renewable energy, specifically for buildings, why is this such a big deal? Like, what makes it a monumental shift, and how does LED BD plus CV5 really tackle it with this particular credit?
That's a great place to start. The goal of this EAC4 credit, it really goes way beyond just, say, installing a few solar panels on a roof. It's truly multifaceted, and its design really reflects a broad kind of systemic vision. First, yeah, obviously it actively encourages and rewards the direct use of renewable energy sources. That part's straightforward. But it digs much deeper. It aims to drastically reduce the environmental and economic impacts of our reliance on fossil fuels. And those impacts are huge, right? Everything from air pollution and climate change to energy price volatility. Beyond that, though, a critical piece that sometimes gets overlooked is its focus on expanding the supply of new renewable energy on the grid. This isn't just about using clean energy that's already out there, it's about actively driving investment in new infrastructure.
Ah, so stimulating new capacity.
Exactly. That's paramount. Because simply reallocating existing renewable energy credits, well, it doesn't actually increase the total amount of clean energy available. LED wants to spur new generation capacity to genuinely decarbonize the grid. And crucially, it also promotes what's known as a just transition to a low-carbon economy.
A just transition. What does that mean in this context?
It means aiming to ensure that this whole shift is equitable, that it benefits local communities, provides new, good job opportunities, and avoids, placing an unfair energy burden on vulnerable populations. It's about systemic change that's responsible, both environmentally and socially.
Wow, okay. So it sounds like this credit is about way more than just what happens inside the building itself. It's really about contributing to a much broader societal shift in how we generate and use energy. So for you, the listener, it implies that every point earned here isn't just some tick mark on a lady's scorecard. It's actually a contribution to a larger, more sustainable, and hopefully more equitable energy system. So with that really compelling vision, how does Lady actually translate that into, tangible goals? What's the reward? How do projects get recognized for embracing this?
Right. Projects can earn up to 5 points under this EAC4 credit. And here's where the ambition really meets the action. To hit that coveted LEED Platinum status, the highest level, a project has to achieve 100% of its site energy use from qualified renewable sources. 100%.
100%. That's a high bar.
It is, and the points leading up to that are awarded on a sliding scale. It's based directly on the percentage of a project's total site energy consumption that gets offset by these various qualified renewable sources. It creates a clear kind of progressive pathway for projects to aim higher and higher in terms of renewable integration.
Okay, now here's where it gets really strategic, I think. You mentioned that not all renewable energy is created equal in OI's eyes. That seems like a really important distinction. You talk about different tiers of energy sources, each carrying a different weight. Can you break those down for us and maybe explain why these distinctions matter so much for a project trying to get certified?
Absolutely. And you're right, it is strategic. The LED system intelligently categorizes renewable energy into 3 distinct tiers. Understanding their sort of value proposition is really key to maximizing points and, frankly, achieving genuine impact. So let's start with Tier 1 on-site renewable energy. These sources are definitely considered the highest value. They offer the most direct, the most tangible impact. I mean, think about it. If a building is generating its own power right there on its property, it minimizes transmission losses, it provides immediate, localized, clean energy.
Makes sense. Like solar panels on the roof.
Exactly. That's the classic example, solar photovoltaic or PV. But it also includes solar thermal systems, for heating water or air using the sun. It could also cover wind turbines if the site allows geothermal systems, especially if they're generating electricity, and even on-site biogas capture and use. These Tier 1 sources provide the highest value per unit of energy toward those LED points, precisely because they represent direct, localized, clean energy production. They cut demand on the grid right where the energy is being used. They're really the gold standard if you have the space.
Okay, gold standard Tier 1. What comes next?
Right. Next is Tier 2, off-site renewable energy. Now, these are sources that, while not physically on the building's immediate footprint, are still directly linked to the project's energy use in a meaningful way. This tier is really critical for projects that might have limited on-site space. Maybe you're in a dense city, right?
Yeah, not every building has a giant roof or empty land.
Precisely. So Tier 2 includes things like renewable energy bought through community solar programs. That's where multiple users share the benefits from say, a larger off-site solar array. It makes clean energy much more accessible. It also covers off-site renewable installations where the project itself has direct ownership or direct procurement agreement. So there's a clear, strong connection to that energy source. And importantly, it includes power purchase agreements, PPAs. These are essentially long-term contracts to buy power directly from a specific renewable energy facility. But, and this is key for Tier 2, it's specifically for new renewable energy generation.
Ah, there's that new word again.
Yes. The emphasis here is squarely on supporting the creation of new clean energy infrastructure, not just buying power or credits from plants that have been running for years. It's all about adding to the overall renewable energy supply, not just shifting around how we account for the existing supply.
Okay, so Tier 1 is on-site, Tier 2 is off-site but directly linked, preferably new. What's left for Tier 3?
Right. So Tier 3 green power purchase or renewable energy certificates, RECs. This tier operates a bit differently. It includes your standard utility green power programs. Maybe you pay a small premium on your bill for green energy from the utility pool. And it includes RECs, those renewable energy certificates, but specifically those that are not directly linked to new generation projects. They might be from existing facilities, or their newness isn't specifically tracked or required for this tier.
So these are still good, but maybe less impactful directly.
In LEED view, yes. While they definitely still contribute to the broader green energy market, Tier 3 sources are generally assigned a lower value, and their contribution towards the points is often limited unless you're also significantly using Tier 1 or Tier 2 sources. This hierarchy is completely intentional. LNAID wants to prioritize direct, impactful renewable energy generation either right there on site or through direct investment in new off-site capacity. That comes first, before relying solely on these more market-based instruments like unbundled RECs. While RECs are legitimate tools, they primarily represent the environmental attributes of renewable energy. They don't always directly stimulate new clean energy bills in the same way, say, a PPA specifically for a brand new solar farm would. So it's really a spectrum of impact, and LEED rewards the choices that drive the most direct and additional impact most heavily.
Okay, that tiered structure makes a lot more sense now. It's really guiding projects towards the most impactful actions. So to make it really concrete for you listening, imagine a building project going for LEED. They might earn, say, 1 point for offsetting maybe around 10% of their site energy with these qualified sources. Then maybe 2 points for 20%, 3 points for getting up to 40%, 4 points for 60%. And then, bam, that full 5 points if they hit the 100% offset needed for platinum. It really is like a clear ladder to climb, showing that incremental progress is valued, but really pushing towards that ultimate 100% clean energy goal. Now, the exact thresholds might shift a tiny bit with LEED updates, but the core principle stays the same. The more you offset with renewables, especially the higher tier ones, the more points you earn. It guides you towards maximum sustainability. It feels like a really well-structured system. So this tiered system and the points, it sounds fantastic on paper, incredibly well thought out. But how do real-world projects actually make this happen? What are some of the key practical implementation tips that a developer or maybe an architect should really be thinking about right from the start of a project?
Yeah, moving from theory to practice is always the key, isn't it? When we connect this back to actual project development, several really actionable tips emerge from the source material. They provide a kind of practical roadmap. First, and maybe it sounds obvious, but it's crucial, is to maximize your on-site generation. This means really truly optimizing every available square foot of rooftop space. Don't just put a few panels up there, cover it if you can, and look beyond the roof, any other site space. Parking lots, Walls.
Parking lots, how does that work?
Solar canopies. You see them more and more. They cover parking spaces, provide shade, and generate power. Some projects are even exploring vertical solar arrays on building facades now. It's about using every possible surface on your own property for those high-value Tier 1 sources. Don't leave potential generation on the table. Second, and this is just critically important for efficiency and, frankly, for cost, is to integrate these renewable strategies early, like really early. We're talking about bringing these ideas in during the very first schematic design phase. Don't wait until the design is almost done and then try to tack on solar.
Right, not as an afterthought.
Exactly. By incorporating renewables from the get-go, they can be seamlessly woven into the building's overall energy modeling. That's essential for predicting and optimizing performance. Plus, early integration avoids costly redesigns later and ensures synergy with other building systems, like HVAC and lighting. Trying to bolt on renewables late often leads to compromises, either in efficiency or aesthetics or cost. Okay, another powerful tip, especially for managing costs and complexity on maybe larger projects, is to bundle your procurement.
Bundle procurement. What does that mean practically?
It means thinking strategically about combining different sources. Maybe you put as much Tier 1 PV on site as you can, but that only gets you, say, 40% of your energy needs. So then you might look into an off-site Tier 2 power purchase agreement, PPA, for another chunk, maybe another 40%. And perhaps you cover the final 20% by participating in a local Tier 2 community solar program. This bundled approach can be incredibly cost-effective. It lets you leverage multiple avenues for clean energy without putting all your eggs in one basket, and it helps you hit those higher percentage targets.
That makes sense. Diversify your clean energy portfolio, essentially.
In a way, yes. Then it's absolutely vital to leverage the available incentives. This is huge. There are often numerous grants, federal tax credits, state or local tax credits, utility rebates, all specifically designed for renewable installations. Tapping into these resources can significantly, dramatically offset the initial capital investment. It makes these projects much more financially viable, much more attractive from an ROI perspective. Projects that really do their homework and meticulously apply for these incentives often find their payback period shrinks considerably.
Free money, basically, or at least significantly discounted money.
Well, earn money for making smart choices. And finally, a key detail. It seems small, but it's absolutely crucial, especially for that Tier 3 pathway involving RECs. You must certify your RECs. Any renewable energy certificates you use to claim points must be Greenie certified or meet an equivalent recognized standard.
Green certified. Why is that specific certification so important?
It's all about verification and preventing double counting. Green is an independent third-party certification that ensures the renewable energy claim is legitimate, that the REC represents actual renewable generation, and that its environmental benefits haven't been sold or claimed elsewhere. It guarantees the environmental integrity of the REC, which is fundamental for maintaining compliance with LED's strict standards. Without that proper certification, those RECs simply won't count toward your credit points.
Okay, that's a really comprehensive set of strategies. It definitely highlights that it's not just about, what you physically install on the roof. It's just as much about how you plan for it from day one, how you finance it using those incentives, and how you ensure the legitimacy and the verifiable impact through things like REC certification. These tips really show a holistic approach, moving way beyond just the hardware to the strategy, the finances, even the regulatory details. It helps ensure projects are not just green on the surface, but actually robust and well-planned for long-term success.
And that really brings us to a crucial point, maybe circling back to the why. Why does all this effort, all this detailed planning, why does it matter beyond just earning points for a specific building and getting a LEED plaque on the wall? Well, by investing strategically in renewable energy, following these guidelines, your project contributes to a much, much larger societal impact, an impact that genuinely benefits everyone.
Yeah, let's talk about that ripple effect. For you, the listener, what does this actually mean? It means these all-LEED projects, especially those pushing for high renewable energy percentages, are directly helping to reduce our collective carbon footprint. That's job number one for tackling climate change. Right? They're actively helping to decarbonize the electricity grid, shifting us away from that reliance on polluting fossil fuels. And a direct result of that is often dramatically improved air quality in our communities. That affects everyone's health.
Absolutely. Cleaner air, fewer respiratory illnesses, direct benefits.
But it's also about supporting the growth of clean energy jobs and the related infrastructure. This isn't just an environmental play. It's about economic development, too, creating jobs in a sector that's clearly the future. And it really does contribute to that idea of an equitable energy transition, ensuring that local communities can be empowered and can benefit directly from this massive shift in our energy system rather than, being left behind or negatively impacted. It's about building a better, healthier, and ultimately more prosperous future for all of us, one sustainable building project at a time.
It really boils down to a simple, but I think quite powerful mantra that encapsulates this whole approach. Generate clean, procure smart, build for the future.
Generate clean, procure smart, build for the future. I like that. So what does this all ultimately mean for you? It means that every single time a building aims high, goes for LEED Gold or Platinum, especially focusing on this renewable energy credit. It's not just making some kind of statement, it's actively, tangibly helping to reshape our entire energy landscape. One rooftop PV system, one PPA for a new wind farm, one community solar program subscription at a time. It really is a measurable step, maybe lots of small steps adding up, toward a carbon zero world, building block by building block. It demonstrates that conscious, intentional design can drive monumental positive change.
And maybe a final thought, something for you to ponder as you go about your day. As you look around your own community, maybe at new construction happening, or even consider your own energy choices, how might understanding these tiers, the on-site, the off-site new, the RECs, and these practical strategies we talked about, how might that understanding empower you to advocate for more sustainable development, to push for a cleaner, more equitable energy future right there where you live?
That's a great question to leave folks with. We certainly hope this deep dive into LEDV5's EAc4 Renewable Energy Credit has given you some truly valuable insights today. If you want to keep exploring the fascinating ways we can build a better, cleaner world together, please be sure to subscribe so you can hear more about this world in future deep dives. Thanks so much for joining us.